Okay, good. Sorry about that. Let's start again because yeah. So let's do a slide. So welcome everybody. So let's go to basically 3 areas we are going to cover. One is performance, one disease. How do we live disease-free using food? There are the hundreds of diseases which happens in the world. Blood pressure, heart, stroke, diabetes, obesity, asthma, dementia, Alzheimer. There's nothing missing. Food can prevent 99% of them. So food is a major. Whether you die from COVID or not is also related with what kind of food you ate in the past. Performance, of course, whether you get a job, whether you can keep your job, whether you get into IIT is also dependent. Like whether your son get A+ or C, it's also depending on what food they eat. And lastly, of how long you live, whether you live 70 or 140 depends on food. And it's not everything. I'm restricted myself to just scientific research, like because there's so much material in it that I've only picked up the points which are backed by scientific research or scientific study or data or math, right? So there are other topics like if a premature baby survives or not, that depends on what he's been fed, whether world survive or global warming or not. So we'll come back to that later if we get, so let's go to future screen. So food defines who you are, your morality, your criminality, your ability, your anxiety, your depression, whether you're feeling depressed or not, your rashness, your intolerance. Like if your child is acting strange, it's because of maybe the wrong food he's eating. Whether you make it, this is about ability, whether you get 9s in GCA or A+ in AP, whether you're capable in sports, arts. So it doesn't matter what is the field of study or what is the field of work. Food is the most crucial item. Like whether you want to be successful sports, they're different food, but it's still food which enables you. If you want to be singer, again, there are different food which you're supposed to eat, but again, it depended on what kind of food, whether you get your project done in less time or more time, it's all depending. So we already covered this point. Okay. Okay, so there's another food also has more than eating. Food can also be used as a face wash, facial, mouthwash, toothpaste. So there are a lot of other beauty application as well as normal day-to-day application. Like if you get a sore throat, you could use like rose water and other stuff like that. So food also govern whether your sexual ability, like whether you're going down in sexual activity, it's also governed with what kind of food you're eating. Like, if you take the pill will kill you. So that's but if you just improve upon the food, obviously, it's not about improving about the food, it's about consuming the food we recommend or which come recommended. It improves your ability. And this sexual ability is actually a precursor to your looming death. So if you're losing your sexual ability, you should start thinking like something very, very bad is going to happen to you. It's not about just losing your sexual ability. It's about something, it's one of the first thing, because the capillaries of sexual organs are very tight. So that's the first which gets affected when you have clogged arteries, or which is like precursor to your having heart attack or stroke. So it's a warning sign, like you wake up now, and if you wake up, it can easily fix it. Better sleep. Again, there are a lot of food which helps you sleep better. Like, it's complement the compounds which body naturally produce to have the natural sleep's rhythm, because body is designed to sleep in the night and wake up in the morning. That's how it works, because it has to reconcile all the activities in your mind, and for that sleep is essential. Okay? So we are not going to why sleep is essential, but sleep is essential, but food can help you sleep better. Society, humanity, country, like food has an influence beyond, like, whether people are criminal or not. So in one of the prison experiment, they fed the right food to a section, like a control, like, the way scientific study happens, right? They give the food to half the population, half is given a placebo. The 50% who were given the right food, their crime rate dropped by 75%. So that was a living proof on human. Like, the first time we actually experimented on a human to show that, hey, with the right food, even the most criminals who are in the jail could be further corrected. So criminals, when you go to jail, there's usually crime incident within the jail, but the incident of the crime decreased 70% on the controlled subjects. Less aggressive behavior that can be seen even at home, and more empathy. So this is another point, empathy. Empathy is the reason why people become a serial killer. So, okay, what I will go now is some of the interesting graphs, because this is really boring. So we will give you some of the stuff. So first of all, we will see like how our ability decrease over age, does it actually decrease? So you can see that, right? Most of our memory, right? Our memories are peak in 20s. And it's a peak. That peak itself could be less because you could not be feeding your child right food. This peak itself is less for most of the people because our children are losing a tennis size brain by, so these peaks are going down these days. And as people are aging, as times are passing, they are rapidly declining their working memory, long-term memory, speed of processing, digital simple, even things like running, walking, right? So every human loses their ability to be even human, right? To walk up, to run. So there's a gradual decline of, if you don't take care with the right food, there's a gradual decline of your all ability except one ability. One ability increases a lot, which we call bullshitting. So that's what keep increasing as we age. So we get a better in vocabulary because obviously you know more, so you can write better presentation, and so most of the ability which matters in life decreases, but of course you become a better orator. So you could become a politician if you want to be. So as we age, so let's take about a disease, right? Cancer. Like, what is the causes of cancer? So basically, cancer causes are 90 to 95% environment and 5 to 10% gene. And this gene factor also we can reduce to almost nothing. Again, we talk about percentage here. There's no foolproof. Food is a very complex science. Like, we are talking here about 10,000 food. I will show you food chart, right? So this is a food list we have, right? And you can see these are the miracle food which we recommend and this is actually picked up by AI, and this is so complex. Like, I cannot diagnose you like which food is right for you. Depends on what you are. So automatically the AI will pick up the right food. So it's basically artificial intelligence we use machine learning as well as assisted learning, AL as well. And they automatically, because it's not possible to eat so much food, we recommend you, basically if you can eat all this 10,000 food is best, but obviously reality is you cannot eat so much food. So we recommend you to eat around 100 food out of this list. And this changes based on how you react to the food. Say your goal was like, hey, I want to crack IIT. So how your scores are. So based on your score, this will automatically adjust your right food. And till you say your goal was to crack IIT, maybe then you can make, my goal is to get 100 rank in IIT, So this could help you achieve those things. So it's a very major list. Second complexity we deal is, we are talking here about a billions gene. Plants, like agriculture, we talk about billions of genes. Like, Apple itself has so many genes. Human itself has 20,000 genes. But humans is not just 20,000 genes. We have millions of gut bacteria, which plays an equally important role in human life. So again, we are talking about millions plant genes to millions human genes, which is like gut and human, and millions of compounds. So it's literally infinite amount of possibility. So food is a really, really complex. Like, people want a simple solution. Like, tell me one food or 10 food which I can eat and which can solve all my problem. There's no magic pill in food. You have to eat 100 food every month, and those food will change based on what is your goal and how you perform. How you perform depends on what your history so far being. Like, how is the epigenetic? Because you may take calcium, but your body has become incapable to absorb the calcium. So we have to give you more calcium. containing food. And this, the AI can detect, hey, I'm giving you this, but your calcium scores are still dropping, so it will try to figure it out that, hey, and again, we are not treating disease here. We are just making sure that you stay at the peak of your age, like 20. Your heart remains as good as 20s, your brain remain as good as 20, your running speed remain as good as your aptitude remain. So we are just making sure that you remain in your prime of 20, whether it's your ability, whatever that. So basically, cancer is caused 95% by environment. There's a gene component, which I say I call, and it's most of the environment is diet. Obesity is again diet. Infection is again diet. Tobacco, yeah, even drug addiction is again dependent on diet. So this is also quite a bit. I will not cover this, but tobacco consumption is also related to diet. Like whether you take a drug or not also depends on what kind of food you have been fed from the childhood, So basically that's what, so cancer is like 90 to 95% environmental, which we can control. We can also control this. Again, it's 99% possible. It's not never 100%. There's another thing about cancer is important is, you have to understand how do we contain, how does the body contain the natural? So basically we need to have a healthy circulation. Like, if a body has to have the ability to control, right? You need to, body makes blood vessel, right? And it doesn't know when to stop. So this is what kind of blood vessel they make. But then there is another immune. If you have a better immune system, that comes and cuts it out to the proper shape you need for your body component. If this doesn't get cut, what happens, like you start feeding cancer cells. And that's what, you always have hundreds of cancer cells in your body, but they never develop because your body keeps cutting out all unnecessary blood vessel. Because if the cancer cell gets the blood vessel, it will multiply like crazy. So that's how food plays a and there's another chart, very interesting chart. Let me find, if I can find it. So if we have compared food with medicine. Okay, maybe it's getting into this side. Okay, yeah, this is the guy. Yeah, cancer. So we are comparing food with actual medicine. And you can see that cancer drug, they are blue, they are lenalidomide and taxolifan, paracetal. Common drugs is all the yellow, and dietary factors. You can see dietary factor is more effective than medicine. And we are talking about cancer. We are not even using them as cancer treatment, because I never recommend anybody to use food for treatment. So we only use food to prevent, because important is if you get a disease or not, it's because you have slipped on consuming those 100 food which you're supposed to have, because body needs those nutrient. And if you don't eat all this nutrient, the cancer will get a heavy and will start developing. So there are food, like if you're a smoker, right, you have a high chance of developing lung cancer. But with proper food, we could even contain that, even though we may not ask you to, we will ask you to quit smoking. But if we say for some reason you don't want to quit smoking, there are food which we can give you, enhance those food to prevent you from developing lung cancer. Similarly, if you're a drinker, you like to drink, we can give you certain food which will prevent you catching kidney cancer. So let's see some of what are the other interesting things it has. Let's see what this is. So what are the components, like, what tomato, how does food work so well, and what are the recommended doses? I mean, food should be treated like not as a medicine, because we are not really preventing disease here. We are preventing disease. We are not curing disease, but this is the amount of you need to see. You are supposed to eat 2 tomatoes every day. Coffee not more than 3 cups, tea not more than 3 to 4 cups, walnut 14. So these are the compound. And again, we talked about millions of miracle compound, like thousands we know already, but food is such a complex, we don't know 90% of the compound, right? But these are the few of the compound which we know, which proven to be anti-cancerous. So it reduces, see outcome 33% prostate cancer reduced, fish reduces by this guy, coffee reduced by 12%, renal rate is 50%, 23%. So everything you can see, like there are millions of scientific studies which proves beyond doubt that food can tackle each disease, and you have to tackle every disease. Like you cannot wait for, for it to happen. Like we talk about, I think let's talk about COVID, right? COVID, whether you survive COVID or you get COVID, right, depends on something called NLR factor. NLR is neutrophil to lymphocyte count. That's a ratio which determine if you die from COVID or you survive COVID. And NLR is the factor which completely depends on food, what kind of food you eat. If you're not eating those food we recommend, which you're supposed to eat, your NLR will go up. And it's a very easy figure to measure, because any blood test will, a complete blood count test can reveal that figure that, hey, your immune system is going south, so you need to do something to fix it. And say you can't fix it. Sometimes it happens like, hey, your NLR is 7 and you're high risk of dying from COVID. And we know that. So at least you will know that you're high risk, and the food is not working because, because you've been abusing your body for so long that your gut is also. So it takes, sometimes it do take a while to, in that case, you have to self-isolate. So you know that, hey, the food is not able to make 6 to 3 right away. Sometimes it takes months, sometimes it takes weeks, sometimes we change it in a day. So we try to change in a day, because if it is 6, you are in a high risk category. We try to say, hey, you're a high risk category, so let's try to reduce to 3 so that you can survive COVID if you get COVID. So let's, any questions you have so far?
I'm fine, thank you, Parveen.
Okay, no problem. So let's look into another food which improves, like diabetes and amla, right? Amla is one of another miracle, like out of 1,000 foods we recommend, right? Amla is one of the thing, and it is compared against a medicine, right? So doses is like, this is the medicine which is given for diabetes, glyperamide, and now we're giving the doses of amla. You can see that amla is performing a lot better compared to medicine, so 3 gram is working better, 2 gram is not working better. You can see that's why we take a lot of tests to know how the food is performing. Sometimes this 2 gram, some individual it can produce the effect of 3 grams also, some individual, not every individual. So this is heavily dependent on individual. That's the reason we use a lot of testing to determine if the given food is meeting its object. Like you want to become a genius, you want to earn millions. So are you able to do? You want to get a job. So whether we are able to increase your aptitude to score or not, we measure weekly basis. So make sure that, say you should not have diabetes, but in case you already have glucose sensitivity, we call it, we're not curing diabetes. We're trying to see how your diabetes could be controlled with amla instead of taking. But again, this is just for a discussion with the doctor, and we are not suggesting any cure, okay? This is another study which was done, and let's take into some of the evidences, right? Like we talked about a lot of claims here. So what are the evidence we have which backed as the theory? Like, some, okay, oops, oh no, I think in probably no. So this is very easy. I have created a group. If you have any further, like, let's see here. Okay. Oh my, let's see. Oh, I think it's.
Hi, everyone. So I hope not many people got cut off in the middle of their talk.